Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. To our first story, the Commander-in-Chief of the Malawi Defense Force, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, will today preside over the commissioning of MDF officer cadets. Acting Public Information Officer for the MDF, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Chipanya, says all is set for the event, which will take place at the Malawi Armed Forces College Mafco Parade Ground in Salima. Main Tumodzi looks ahead to the event.
President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Malawi Defense Force MDF, is set to commission 122 officer cadets at a ceremony scheduled for Friday, 20th November, at the parade ground of the Malawi Armed Forces College Mafco in Salima. Acting Public Information Officer for the Malawi Defense Force, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Chipanya, says of the 122 cadets, 96 are men and 26 are women.
On Friday, we have what we call the commissioning parade. This is the ceremony where we will witness 122 officer cadets. These are young male and female who have been undergoing what we call officer cadet training here at Malawi Armed Forces College, being commissioned to become officers of the Malawi Defense Force. That is to say, they have completed their training. They are now becoming officers who will be deployed in various units of the Malawi Defense Force to start working as officers. Amongst these 122 officer cadets, we have 96 who are male, and we have 26 who are females. And I have also taken this opportunity to mention here that amongst these 122 officer cadets, we have 10 who are from allied African countries. And these countries include Kenya, Tanzania, Eswatini, and Zambia. And on Friday, what is expected is that we will have a military parade. And after the military parade, we will have the commissioning ceremony. Let me mention also here that this ceremony is going to be presided over by His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi and Commander-in-Chief of the Malawi Defense Force. And he's the one who, by powers vested in him by the Constitution of the Republic of Malawi, mandated to commission and grant commission for these officer cadets.
The event is expected to begin with a commissioning parade. Maim Tumodzi, MBC News, Salima.
Construction of the Pediatric Center at Mzuzu Central Hospital is expected to improve access to quality health services to surrounding communities once completed. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, responsible for administration, Beston Chisamile, said this during the groundbreaking ceremony of the over 2.5 billion kwacha Pediatric Center to be constructed at the hospital. Details with Jackson Sijali.
Realizing challenges that children face in accessing high-quality eye care services in the northern region, government, through Germany Lion Foundation and the Christian Blind Mission, has launched the construction of the 2.5 billion kwacha Pediatric Center at the hospital. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Beston Chisamire, said government is committed to improving the general well-being of children by ensuring that they have access to high-quality health services for improved livelihoods.
There will be a number of gains that we'll get. One is that the specialized care will be within reach, that is within the northern region. Two, the costs that are associated with transportation to Lilongwe or Blantyre, they also be reduced. And also this facility, as a component of training, that the medical personnel that will be working here will also be trained under this package. So indeed there are a number of benefits.
Director General from Mzuzu Central Hospital, Dr. Doris Kayambo, said the project will improve the welfare of children in the northern region and surrounding communities. Dr. Kayambo further said initially some clients were being referred to Lilongwe or Blantyre to seek eye care services, and the construction of this center at Mzuzu Central Hospital will help to mitigate the challenge.
With the terrain in the northern region, access to healthcare is already a problem. So mothers and patients are traveling a long distance to come to Zuzu Central Hospital to access the eye care. Then once diagnosed here, they had to wait so we can mobilize ambulances so that they are transferred and referred to Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital. So because Zuzu Central Hospital being in the northern region of Malawi and Blantyre being in the southern region of Malawi, the distances are large. Therefore, it's wear and tear on our ambulances. It is high fuel consumption, high maintenance consumption, and also for the patient, it becomes increasingly difficult to be away from their families where they have easy access to support and food to go all the way down to the southern region where they are more or less isolated.
Country Director for Christian Blind Mission, Linda Kasonka, said the organization critically looks at disability prevention through healthcare programs such as eye care, mental health and disease prevention, hence partnering with the government of Malawi to promote a disease-free environment.
And the gap that was identified in Muzuzu is that the pediatric component in eye health was a big gap. So they are referred to Blantyre. So that is a big gap, because if you are working in a community where a lot of people are marginalized, they don't have the resources to get to Blantyre, that leads to people being excluded from accessing the services, especially pediatric eye care.
The Pediatric Center at Mzuzu Central Hospital will also train specialists in eye treatment. Jackson Sitali, MBC News, Mzuzu.
Still on issues of health, the World Bank is impressed with the quality of construction works and service delivery at Chigodi Health Center in Lilongwe. The facility, built with funding from the Governance to Enable Service Delivery JESET project, was inspected by World Bank Division Director Nathan Billet and Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri. The health center currently serves more than 25,000 people under Senior Chief Masengera. We have a report by Jinsisi Moyo.
For the people of Senior Chief Masengera in Lilongwe, walking long distances to access essential health care is now a thing of the past. The newly constructed Chigodi Health Center, built with World Bank funding under the JESET project, is helping close the gap in healthcare access in the area. During an inspection tour of the facility, World Bank Division Director Nathan Bileti commended the government for ensuring high-quality construction and service standards.
We are very excited with what we've seen today. The quality of the construction is very sound. It seems that this is a model that's used across the country in the various district health centers. We believe that these kinds of facilities are critical to bring services closer to citizens. So for this reason, the World Bank would like to continue to do these kinds of activities across the country. The work of the Ministry of Local Government and the partnership with the World Bank is very critical, because bringing services closer to citizens is at the heart of what we do.
At present, the health center is offering outpatient department OPD services only. But the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Ben Piri, says that by January 2026, the entire facility, including the maternity wing, will be fully operational.
The partnership between the government and the World Bank really boils down to the core function of our ministry, which is service delivery. And when execution is at a stage where we are, with solid structures, quality structures within the period that we're talking about, you can't ask for more but to say, I'm grateful.
Before touring Chigodi, the World Bank official also paid a courtesy call on the minister at Capitol Hill in Lilongwe. Government officials say the visit signals cordial cooperation between Malawi and its development partners, with both sides expressing confidence that investments like the Chigodi Health Center will steadily improve health outcome for rural communities. Chinsisi Moyo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Information Shadrack Namalomba has assured the media that there will not be any arrest of a media practitioner who is executing their duty during Professor Mutharika's 5-year term. Namalomba says government will ensure that the media operates freely to effectively play its watchdog role.
It's very, very, very important that the media practitioners are accorded the free pass to doing their job and free pass to access information, that they are protected and their rights are guaranteed. Because it is out of that the mind will be able to synthesize a particular issue and write and make somebody write a story that can actually win, but also a story that will inspire. So you need a free mind. And it's very, very important for the government of His Excellency Professor Arthur Pinamda to guarantee that. And I'm here to announce that in the 5-year period that His Excellency Professor Arthur Pinamda has been mandated by the people of Malawi to lead, no journalist will be arrested just because of what they write, what they think, and what they envision. We are going to guarantee that. It is very, very important, because from there then we are going to be able to tell that story that I said. We must tell a story for Malawi, a story that we invite. Now, the advantage of doing that is that we are now going to be attracting investors, people coming into this country. The forex that we are saying we don't have now. If we write good stories, people will now begin to come to Malawi. See what we have. We have a beautiful lake. We have beautiful people. We have beautiful mountains. So these are the things that. So it is very, very important that we guarantee a free mind. We guarantee rights of media practitioners, but also their welfare.
Farmers in Salima ADD have been advised not to plant their crops until they receive adequate rains. Chief Agriculture Officer for Salima Agriculture Development Division ADD, Robert Banda, said this after the district had recently received rains which were too little to support plants, warning that the district will experience a dry spell up to mid-December. Rodolfo Nyirenda has more.
Rain season is on, and some districts have received first rains. Salima is one of such districts that have received rains recently. The Chief Agriculture Officer for the district, Ruben Banda, says the rain that the district received is not enough to support plant growth, hence the need for farmers to wait until the normal rains that is expected to start in December.
According to the forecast, it was forecasted that in November we are going to receive rainfall, which will not be enough for the planting. So we are advising our farmers to wait up until we will receive the effective planting rainfall. In the previous season, we received rainfall in the first week of January, and by last week of February, the rain ceased, so we did not harvest enough food for the farmers to at least consume for year in and year out.
Samson Chirambo from Kawanga village in traditional authority Karonga in the district said he will wait for the normal rains to avoid losing seed, which he says is now very costly.
We are waiting for agriculture advice to tell us to start planting, because this can be to plant the crops early, but we can lose.
But for irrigation farmer Rafael Chongwa from Mayadi village in the same area, the situation is different. Chongwa says he will irrigate the maize he has planted to prevent losses. According to the Department of Meteorological Services, the 2025 to 2026 rainfall season for the most parts of the country, including Salima, is expected to be normal to above normal, with the main rains arriving by mid-December. Ludovico Nyirenda, MBC News, Salima.
You're watching MBC News and you are with me, Evelis Chingambi. A reminder of our top stories. The Commander-in-Chief of the Malawi Defense Force, President Mutharika, will preside over the commissioning of MDF officer cadets in Salima today. Government assures journalists of a free and vibrant environment to effectively play their role. And UNDP establishes a 520 million kwacha grant to promote innovation in the business sector. Welcome back. Police in the country has emphasized that it has obtained a search warrant to pursue evidence provided by the suspect in a case of the missing police dogs at Kamuzu Palace. Deputy National Public Relations Officer Alfred Jimtere says the search warrant contradicts claims circulating on social media that the police have obtained an arrest warrant for the former president, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera.
As a police, there is an ongoing investigation that is happening in relation to the looting that took place at Kamuzu Palace, which is one of the state residences. As such, we've been following some leads, and one suspect has been arrested, is already appeared in court, and is currently on remand. So, in following up for the property and some of the things that we have vandalized, some of them include the police dogs, which we issued a press statement yesterday, and that investigation is ongoing. But I must clarify that we do not have that warrant of arrest as some media stories are circulating. That is very false and wrong, and we are calling on people to always ensure that they verify or confirm with the police whenever they want to share information, because that is regrettable for people to share false and misleading information about police on the social media. When everything is done and dusted, I think the public will know. Will also come back and tell the citizens how far we have gone, what we have found out, what we have achieved, and how the case will still be ongoing in the court of law.
Minister of Transport and Public Works, Feston Kauba, says government is mobilizing additional resources to finalize the Likoma jetty construction project, which remains at 90% completion. Kauba disclosed that the project requires over 4 billion kwacha to be completed. More in this report.
Minister of Transport Feston Kauba was responding to questions directed to his ministry on the progress of various water transport projects. Member of Parliament for Likoma and Chizumulu Islands, Charles Jilambula, requested the Minister of Transport to consider reintroducing the MV Jilembwe to work with Ilala so that transport be eased. Jilambula also requested government to make sure that the Likoma jetty is finalized, as it was expected to be finalized 3 years ago.
The Ilala is not enough, so we need another vessel which can be of good capacity, or else it can be, the frequency can be more, so that it's not that congested, and a ship that can have the facilities which, if there is an accident, there can be, the relevant authorities can be alerted on time. So I rose to ask the government to work on this issue with agency. We have been told several times there will be a ship coming, this, and that, but nothing is being done. And again, issue of jetty, it was supposed to be completed about 3 years ago, but up to date, it's not completed.
In his response, Minister of Transport Feston Kauba explained that the contractor, Motor NGO, is owed 4 billion kwacha by the Malawi government, which has resulted in the project being stalled at 90% for the past 3 years. He said he is hopeful that construction works will soon resume to complete the remaining 10%, as government is currently engaging Motor NGO or mobilizing the necessary resources.
I had a meeting with the contractor, Motor NGO. They are more than willing to get back on site upon them being paid the balance of what is outstanding. And of course, they're not looking for the whole balance. They're saying if we can pay them something like 4 billion Malawi kwacha, they're ready to go back on site and finish off the work that was remaining. So we got to this point because, as I've also been mentioning in my statements, and some of the responses that I've provided to the questions from the honorable members of parliament, that all this has arisen because for the past 2-3 years, Motor Angel hasn't been paid for the port at the Likoma Island. Now, the discussions that have commenced with Motor Angel, I'm hopeful that they will lead us into concluding and government paying Motor Angel an amount of money that will make them go back to site and complete the work, and perhaps the balances that might be remaining is something that we can pay after the works have been completed.
Kauba further told Parliament that government is at an advanced stage of retiring the 74-year-old MV Ilala from service on Lake Malawi due to its aging condition. He added that discussions are underway with owners of the MV Jilembwe, a goods carrier, to complement Ilala's operations on Lake Malawi once the vessel is retired. Charles Wahara, MBC News, Parliament Building, Lilongwe.
Center for Human Rights and Rehabilitation, CHRR, is pushing for increased youth engagement to mitigate political violence, citing the September 16 general election as an example where such efforts yielded positive results. CHRR Executive Director Michael Kayata said this during a stakeholders engagement on during and after elections that aimed at reviewing matters of political violence around the 16 September general election processes. Catherine Banda reports.
CHRR Executive Director Michael Kayata said the meeting aimed at brainstorming factors that contributed towards the peaceful 16 September elections and also those that contributed to the pre-election political violence that was experienced in some parts of the country. He said several elections in the past experienced political violence, mainly perpetrated by the young people, which moved their organization into a project aimed at engaging the youths in peace over entire election process. He believes the initiative worked as the polling day and the post-election period faced no serious violence acts compared to the past, an indication that proper engagements with the youths is key in peaceful elections.
So what we did was to target the youth leadership of political parties. We started way back from the registration process. We gathered them in one place. First of all, we trained them to ensure that they understand the importance of having peaceful elections, but also to understand the role that young people play in electoral violence. And then once we had trained them, we deployed them to reach out to fellow youth within their political parties.
One of the participating youths at the event, Mason Kumbwa from Karonga, who was trained to reach fellow young people on political violence, says, among other things, they were underlining the consequences that follow in accordance to the law on political violence and its implications on their lives and the nation.
We tried all over best to do some awareness campaigns like performing dramas showing the evil act of violence during campaigns. And then we were also teaching our fellow youth in the community about the bad ways and the bad outcomes of doing violence due to these political sessions.
CHRR has been implementing a project called Rise for Peace with intent of mobilizing youths against political violence. Catherine Banda, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Green Economic Transition Facility run by the UNDP says it is stepping up efforts to fast-track green business solutions in line with Malawi's pressing environmental and economic challenges. At the launch of Get F Window 2 Round 3 in Lilongwe, UNDP Program Coordinator Cynthia Tese said that 520 million kwacha matching grant on offer per business project is designed to spur private sector innovation and drive urgent interventions. Trinity Kapantengo reports.
As Malawi grapples with much-faceted challenges, including environmental degradation, the Green Economic Transition Facility, GETF, is said to support the private sector-led scalable businesses that address critical environmental and sustainability issues through matching grants. According to United Nations Development Programme Coordinator Cynthia Tese, the facility's grant provides an opportunity for such businesses to improve people's livelihoods by delivering solutions to environmental environmental degradation, climate change, and related economic challenges.
There are multifaceted aspects to the GETF related to that environmental damage. So we are trying to give an incentive to the private sector to bring about solutions to address those environmental damage aspects, be it in deforestation, be it in biodiversity loss, access to electricity, be it in soil erosion. So we're looking at private sector deploying also technology.
German Development Bank, KfW, Country Director Daniel Bessi, said Germany, through KfW, remains committed to supporting Malawi in meeting its climate, development and economic priorities, including through backing private sector-led initiatives.
The launch is another important and hopefully successful step in our long-term relationship with the private sector in Malawi. The hope is, as I said, we want to see more businesses that provide green solutions that are accessible for the poor people in Malawi and that do their part in this journey in greening the economy.
Commenting on the newly launched window, Mundawatu Company Limited Managing Director Belias Unyoro, a beneficiary of the previous GETF window, explained how the funding has transformed his business and the surrounding community, noting significant growth since receiving the support. He has urged other entrepreneurs to apply for the grant, describing it as highly beneficial.
The funding has changed the holistics in terms of our business, in terms of growth, and in terms of the welfare of the communities around us. As I have put in my presentation, I said since we started, we have recruited the men and women over 53, that is direct beneficiaries, that is permanent job, and we have also engaged with some indirect beneficiaries, that is almost 160 since we started. We have trained women, we have trained sales agents across Malawi in 12 districts. So all these people are the beneficiaries of this project.
GETF is a March partner initiative managed by UNDP with funding support from Government of Germany through the German Development Bank. The expression of interest period for Window 2 Round 3 runs from 26 November 2025 to 10 January 2026. Trinity Kapantengo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
And in sports, FC Binyasa Big Bullets have strengthened their chase for the TNM Super League title after claiming the top spot. This follows a commanding 2-0 victory over Kamuzu Barracks at Sivo Stadium in Lilongwe. And well, that item also concludes this edition of MBC News. A recap of our top stories before we leave. The Commander-in-Chief of the Malawi Defense Force, President Mutharika, will preside over the commissioning of MDF officer cadets in Salima today. Government assures journalists of a free and vibrant environment to effectively play their role. And UNDP establishes a 520 million kwacha grant to promote innovation in the business sector. For more news, visit our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You have been with me, Evelis Chingambe. Thanks for watching and good morning.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
tikudziwa kuti zotupa za mawere komanso kusintha khungu kwa bere lanu ndi ngakhalenso kulowa mkati kwa songa ya bere yanu ngakhalenso kupweteka kosalekeza kwa mawere yanu ndi zina mwa zizindikiro za kansa ya mawere. Nthenda ya kansa ya mawere ndi nthendanso ina imene ikutenga amayi m'dziko lathu ino la Malawi. Ndipo lero tabweranso kuno ku Dream Center kumene tikudzakumana ndi Breast Cancer Care Foundation kuti azatuze zambiri zokhuzana nthenda imeneyi ya kansa ya mawere. Ndikufuna kuti tikhale limodzi tisasiyani kuti timve mvemvemve kapena tsatane wa momwe tingazisamalire mabere athu kamenanso kuzipima kumene kuti tidziwe kuti ngati tili zizindikiro za kansa ya mawere. Ndikulandireni ku programu inanso ya umoyo wa thanzi lero pamene tikukamba nkhani za kansa ya mawere. Dzina langa ndi Jenny Jensambo.